Okay, on this one, we are still dealing with simple interest, we're still dealing with finance, but we've got slightly different information. Okay? This question's saying that Bianca borrows $15,000 to buy a car. Okay, so we know what our principal is. So I'm just going to underline that so that we know that that's P. Okay? Okay, the next thing says that it's going to be paid over 5 years. It's going to be paid over 5 years at $420 a month. So we've actually been told how much she's going to pay per month. We don't know what the interest rate is. That's what we have to work out. We have to work out what the flat rate, the simple interest is that she's going to pay. Anyone got any idea how we're going to do that? Because you will get questions like this. How are we going to work it out?
Yeah, how many months is it?
Yeah, how many months there are in a year? Yeah.
12 by 5.
12 by 5, yeah.
Where's my calculator?
Don't worry about giving me numbers. I want to know process. What are you going to do to find it out? We've got to work out what the interest rate is. Now remember, we do know that this. We do know that this formula is going to end up being I equals PRM. That's the formula that's going to help us in the end. But the thing we don't know is this, the R. We don't know the R. Do we know the P?
Yeah.
Oops, I used the wrong colour there.
P is the
principal. Okay. Do we know the P?
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. So let's just put P up there. Okay. Guys, focus. Do we know what the N is? Yeah, excellent. So we know N equals 5. Now, to solve anything that has a formula, we need to know everything except one variable. Okay? Do we know what the interest is? No, we don't know what the total amount of interest is. Ah, excellent. How can we find out what I is? I want process, not numbers.
Is it P?
Dylan was on the right track.
Well, you got to go far. How many months? P times 1 plus rate and the number of months.
Well, what's the rate? We don't know what the rate is. That's what I'm trying to
Why do you get P times 12?
420 by 12 and times it. Yeah.
Okay. Here we have the per month payment. So I'm going to call that a big R for repayment. Okay? We know that that's 420 per month.
420.
Okay? So what we're going to do, to be able to work out what the interest rate is, we need to be able to work out how much interest she's paid. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So by 420 by 12.
So let's go 420. Now, what I want you to do is have a look at this N. Now you guys said N is 5. Why is N 5?
Because that's 5 years.
Excellent. But remember I said it's interest-bearing periods. How many times has she paid back money? How often did she pay back money? Per month. So, how many months are there in a year?
12.
So she's actually made 60 repayments over the 5 years. Does that make sense? Every month she's paid money. You did. But that's what we look at initially because we go, it's 5 years. Then we've got to think, okay, is it monthly, weekly, daily? Okay, this is actually monthly. So we do the 5 times the 12. She's done 60 repayments over the 5 years. Cool? Okay, so if we do the 420 times that 60, what do you get?
25,200.
That is the total amount she has paid back. Does that make sense? Yeah. She's paid back 420 a month for 60 months. That's the total that she's paid back.
Yeah.
Cool? We still need to find the interest. How did we find the interest in the last question? We actually had the interest and the principal and found the total. How do we find the interest when we've got the total? Easier than that. We have the total. So what do we take away from the total to find the interest?
That number. I still.
The P. We take away the principal. Because this is the total amount. If you take away the amount she borrowed, you'll know how much interest she paid. Does that make sense? So what do we got? Oh, that's an equal. Sorry, it's a dodgy equal sign again. I hate this program sometimes. Okay, so we've got $25,200
I go 15,000.
minus the 15,000 will give us what? What's it give us?
10,200. I don't know why, but that didn't work out.
So we now know that the interest that she paid on this loan is $10,200. Is everyone happy with that? Yeah? We calculated, by knowing how much she paid per month, we calculated how much she paid in total. Then we took away how much she borrowed from the total that she paid. And what's left is the interest that she had to pay on top of what she borrowed. So she borrowed 15 grand, but she paid back 25,200. So she had to pay 10,200. Yeah, all we've done is find the amount of interest she's paid. But we now have this formula, I equals P R N. We now have P, we have N, and we have I. So we can now find R.
So what is it?
It's actually not, once you get your head around it, once you've done it a few times, it'll make perfect sense.
I'll forget about this one and I'll do the next one.
That's why we do them multiple times. Okay? So we've got that.
Is it P times N divided by?
Okay, now we have to get R on its own. So what we want, the way to solve this one is to get R equals. That's what we want the answer to look like. Does that make sense? Or equals R. It doesn't matter which order they're in. Okay? How do we get R on its own? Lever. How do we get R on its own?
Move it across. So,
I wouldn't bother moving R.
I'll move I. What?
I wouldn't bother moving R. I'd leave R where it is.
The equals. Or what do you move? Don't move anything.
How do you get rid of those two? What are they?
Subtract.
Divide.
Divide. It's P times R times N. So how do we get rid of something that's times? Okay, so we want to divide this side by P and N. Does that make sense? Because that'll leave R by itself. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay? And if we do it to this side?
Gotta do it to the other side.
Awesome. So we end up with I divided by Pn equals R.
I want hairy legs. Sorry, son.
I divided by Pn equals R. All I've done is divide both sides by Pn so I can get R on its own. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
That's all I've done. I haven't substituted any numbers in yet. I've just rearranged the formula.
And now you're going to substitute the numbers.
Now you substitute the numbers in. Can you all see what I've done?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can any of you see what I've done? Are anyone here?
Yeah.
Cool.
What N are you using then?
Hey? What N?
Yeah, the 60 or the 5?
Ah, that's a very good question.
Because it's the
Five.
end result.
Interesting. What we're going to do now, Tegan, you're kind of right. You're kind of right. Name's going to be on the internet. Oh, you're on the internet.
Now you get paid.
Sorry?
If anyone watches this
What?
videos.
You'll get video now.
Oh yes, you'll get paid money, royalties even. Okay. Okay. Do we use the 60 or do we use the 5?
60.
If you use the 60, the answer you get will be a percentage per month because you're using the per month.
Okay.
Okay?
Isn't that all rough?
You're looking for the interest per annum.
Oh, yeah.
That's per year.
So times
Yeah.
by 5.
So in this particular case, we're just going to use the 5. You can use the 60, but just be aware that it's per month.
I'm not opening my mouth.
But you were right. Oh, so sad. All right. Okay.
It's 17 over 25.
Now sub in what you've got. What was your interest?
136%.
What was your principal?
15,000 times 5.
Times 5, because that'll give us a yearly rate.
It's 0.136.
Yeah, 0.136, which you could change that to a percentage to give you.
136%. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, that's a very long time.
Okay, there was a few steps in there.
Few steps, alright.
There's not enough working space.